Hey you guys! I have made it no secret on this channel over the years that I am a stressed out, anxious, less than mentally perfect person, which I don't think a mentally perfect person exists. But I'm happy to report that recently, for the past few months, I have just been doing so well mentally. And that doesn't mean that I haven't had bad days, and that doesn't mean that I haven't stressed out, and it doesn't mean that I haven't cried for no reason, but my average day is just such a better experience than it used to be, and my bad days are just few and far between, and I just cannot be happier about it. I thought I would take a couple minutes to tell you guys how I got to this place. And it's not any one magic thing that you could do that magically makes you feel better 100% of the time. It's a lifestyle. It's a change in who you are, but these are things that have really been building me up, and if that doesn't deserve a thumbs up, if my mental state being so much better does not deserve a thumbs up on this video, I just don't know what does. The first thing that has been helping me is kind of a trio of things that sort of interlock together. The first is walking more, the second is leaving my house every day, and the third is having somewhere to walk to. I am, or I guess I was, a very sedentary person, and I've read online that they say if you walk less than 5,000 steps a day, you're considered sedentary, and I was pretty much maxing out at 4,000 steps most days. And since a lot of the time I also wasn't leaving my house, those days I was walking less than 1,000 steps. I was definition sedentary. I'm currently on my second step bet. Not an ad, in case you guys thought my channel was big enough that people want to sponsor me. Is not. StepBet is an app that calculates your step goals based on your step history, and then you join a pool of people. Everyone puts in $40. You have to maintain your step goals for 5 weeks, and the people who make it through the 5 weeks split the pot at the end. No big deal, but during my first step bet I won $11, so rolling in it. I find it so encouraging because I know that if I don't make my goal, I lose the $40, and yeah, it's just $40, but I don't want to lose it. It motivates me to walk. There were a couple weeks between when I finished my first step bet and when I started my second one, and my step count went down measurably. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I started my first step bet right after going to Disneyland, and when I was at Disneyland I was walking 20,000-30,000 steps a day, so my step goal is north of 10,000 steps, but I think it has been so good. And because I have this step bet, and because I have to walk a lot, I've been walking to places. I've been making a point of going to shows or going out with people or going to lunch, just making a reason for myself to walk. Having this incentive to leave the apartment is so good for me. I have agoraphobic tendencies. When I was 15, 16-ish, my therapist suggested to me that he thought I might be agoraphobic. I'm not the girl that I was when I was 15, 16, where I just wouldn't leave my house and I'd get super anxious all the time, and the idea of going somewhere that I hadn't been before just stressed me out, and traveling would make me paralyzed with homesickness. That's not me anymore. But I still have a tendency to not go outside if I don't have a reason to go outside. So using the step bet as incentive to just go do something has been so good. Which brings me to my third thing that I mentioned already, which is having somewhere to go, which goes hand in hand with living downtown. I was living in the suburbs when I lived in Montreal, and if you want to go for a walk, you're walking around and looking at houses. There's no destination to go to, and so you're why would I bother walking? Why would I bother leaving my house? There's nowhere to go. Whereas now that I'm living downtown, there are just so many places to go and so many events going on and so many things to do. Plus, I'm walking to and from work. You know, people just say just exercise more, you'll feel better. I feel better. Which brings me to the other annoying thing that people say, eating healthier. Honestly, I can see a direct correlation between how many vegetables, how many fruit I eat in a day versus how many donuts and chocolate and chips I eat in a day. If I eat a lot of kale, I will feel better the following days. If I eat a lot of donuts, I'll start to feel sluggish, I'll start to feel blood and cranky and I don't know, my mom and dad had something going right, they knew. I didn't listen to them, but they knew. And so I've tried to mostly eat fruits and vegetables, but the occasional chocolate bar gets inhaled. Okay. Next thing I found super helpful is having goals. I set the tiniest little baby goals this month, and it has made me feel so good to accomplish them. Things I've already done. I've gotten a haircut. I went to the bank and signed some forms to get a direct investing account. I'm just waiting for all the paperwork to go through, but like, I did it. Like, just having goals, having a reason to get up in the morning has been so good for my mental state. Usually, I'm really bad about goal setting because I think to myself, like, what if I don't accomplish it? Then I'm gonna be a failure. I can't set goals. I can't do it. So I set the tiniest little baby goals, you guys, and it is just really helpful. Last thing I want to mention is my gratitude journal. Literally any journal will do. This is mine. Usually I'll write in it in the morning. I just sit down and my goal is to write a page. I start off with, today I am grateful for, sometimes I'll write a big paragraph, sometimes I'll write a bunch of small paragraphs. I always find something to feel grateful for, and I made myself a rule. You know how when you say, I'm grateful for this happening, but I kind of wish it, like, I'm not allowed to use the word but. I'm not allowed to use the word however. When I write in my gratitude journal, I can think those things, but I'm only allowed to write the positive. Not only is this exercise getting me really used to noticing the things that are worth being grateful for, but it also really helps me to notice how many times my brain adds in that but. I love my life, but no. I love my life. That's where we stop it. Also, just an obvious thing, like, not having actuarial exams. It's really good for my mental state. Have you guys been doing anything that's been helping you mentally? Maybe I can incorporate it into my life. Maybe if you leave it in the comments, someone else will read it and they can incorporate it into their life. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to see more of my face. I put out new videos when I feel like it. I'm gonna get more frequent. I just don't know how frequent that's gonna be. I love you guys. Thank you for calling. Bye!